week 15. It's a Thursday. I'm fired up to be here. We have Jeff Schwartz, former NFL lineman who wins a ton of money taking the under for quarterback passing yards. We'll get into that later. Jason McIntyre, of course, Fox Sports gambling analyst. And I'm Sarah Perlman, your host. I'm so excited to be here. Guys, how we feeling? I like the slate. We're going to get into it, but how we feeling?
We're coming down the stretch of the season. It's a great time to watch football. We had a great weekend. I expect it again.
Sarah, I'll open with a baseball analogy since you know baseball very well. I'm seeing the ball really well here in December. Had a great week last week. Feeling good about this week.
All right, then, Jason, I'm going to tail you this entire show. So whatever you take, I'll take. Let's take a look at the board here, getting into week 15. I like the slate, but let me tell you guys, there's a lot of double-digit favorites, which happens to scare me, and we'll see that in just a little bit. And of course, as we look at this right here, are there any games that stand out to you real quick, Jeff?
Well, Dolphins in New England is an odd line this week. We'll get into that game in a little bit. But look, I think it feels about right. There's nothing that's too crazy in my opinion, but some of these double-digit favorites on the road are getting ridiculous.
Yeah, Sarah, you missed it a couple weeks ago. I took the Jets. I've been taking the Jets on the reg as a Jets fan. I think I could say on the reg here. I'm not touching them this week. Do not touch the Jets. But the total for that game is very interesting. We'll get to that later in the show.
Well, what's funny is I don't touch the Jets. That's my rule. So we'll have a little game here. Also, some home dogs, 7 teams that are home dogs. Take a look at this slate here. Of course, you see Washington +5 against Seattle. The New York Giants, they're getting 4 at home facing the Cleveland Browns. But guys, we got to get into it. This is one of my favorite games. I know Jeff was talking about it a lot too. Game number 1 on the slate, we have Kansas City laying 3 on the road against the New Orleans Saints. Still some quarterback questions here. It looks like Taysom Hill will be playing. The total is set at 51.5. So Jeff, I'll start with you here real quick. Where are you going?
Well, I love the Chiefs here at -3 for a couple reasons. First of all, they've been a favorite of less than 3 points. The last 9 times they've been a favorite, of less than a touchdown. They've covered all 9 of those games and also won all 9 of them straight up. So this is a 3-point spread, obviously. But let's look at the Chiefs and what they're going to do well in this game. We know they can move the ball, right? We know they can move the ball. But defensively, they're playing better. I know last weekend was a weird weekend, but I'm not putting my money on Taysom Hill right now in the situation, right? We know Taysom Hill last weekend was very much exposed. But let's look at the Saints right now, right? They've only been one team over 500 the entire season. It's the same team as Tampa Bay. When presented with a good team, the Green Bay Packers, even the Vegas Raiders beat them this year. They're not up to the task, Jason. I know there's some injuries about the Chiefs offensive line. Does concern me. But Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL when he releases the ball under 2.5 seconds, which he will do in this game. We know the Saints pressure the quarterback. They do a great job of it, but he will get the ball out quickly. He'll get the ball in space, and they're going to score a lot of points in this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Jeff, but I do have to ask, early in the week, we saw this at 4, and there was some big money on the Saints that drove it down to 3. I don't see an edge there. I do have a question, though. Okay, so this is the Chiefs' 4th road game in 5 weeks. I don't necessarily know if they're worn down or not, but listen, that'll take the toll on you here in December. But my specific angle here is the New Orleans Saints locker room, okay? We've been hearing for 2 weeks now that maybe Drew Brees is coming back. He busted up 11 ribs, but yeah, maybe he was going to play against Philly. I know nobody really thought he was, but maybe he's showing up at practice. Drew Brees could go. He doesn't go, they lose. Okay, we're getting Drew back for the Chiefs game, right? Not. Now it looks like, Sarah said at the outset, very small chance Drew Brees plays. I'm just trying to play armchair psychologist here. I didn't get a degree in that in college, okay? But I got to ask you guys, when you see the savior, Drew Brees, not coming back, you just saw Taysom Hill look pretty bad for the first half. It made a little bit of a comeback, but I just wonder if there's a little bit of a Debbie Downer feel that Drew Brees is not coming back with the Superman cape to save the day. So for me, it's probably a stay away, but I would lean Kansas City.
I love this game. I think it's actually one of my favorite games on the board. So I'm coming off hot and aggressive my first time hosting this show. So I'm really hoping the Chiefs come through. I'll gladly lay the 3. First of all, it's indoors. Patrick Mahomes, Jeff, I think you touched on it perfectly. He lets the ball out quickly. This is a perfect setup for him to throw to Tyreek Hill, one of the fast receivers in the game. Real quick, Chiefs 0-5 against the spread. So J-Mac, I think right off the bat, you're hitting it. 0-5 in their last 5 games, but the Chiefs have won 10 consecutive road games all by a field goal or more. Rest isn't an issue. I think they're going to win this easily. I'll gladly lay the field goal with the best quarterback, in my opinion, team in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to go to a prop here that I think plays into it to see if they can get the win and hopefully by 3 or more. And it's Tyreek Hill. Jason, I'll go to you first. This is pretty high total here. Tyreek Hill's total for receiving yards is set for 86.5. Where are you going?
So last week, Jeff and I had a bit of a tug of war on this one. I think the number was 80.5, and he landed on like 79, something crazy. But as you noted, indoors, Tyreek Hill, track star. I just keep having flashbacks to the Packers-Saints game in the Dome and Aaron Rodgers doing whatever he wanted. Hell, Justin Herbert did whatever he wanted in the Dome. Teddy Bridgewater had a lot of success deep. I would lean to the over here on Tyreek Hill over, 86.5. Yeah, not a significant play, probably a half unit play on Tyreek Hill.
A couple things to consider here. Tyreek Hill, second in the NFL in most receiving yards on deep passes, which is very important when you want to have a prop bet like this in the over, which I will take. But here's another thing too. Against top 5 scoring defenses, Pat Mahomes is 8-0, and he averages, and this is important for this one, 334 yards per game against the top 5 scoring defense, which New Orleans currently has. So I get Tyreek Hill, great in deep passes. We saw last weekend explosive plays, and I get Pat Mahomes to play really well against great defenses. I love Tyreek Hill over here.
Yeah, I'll take the over too. Probably matched up with Marshawn Lattimore. He gave up quite a few big plays to Alshon Jeffrey last week. I love Tyreek Hill. I lean the over here too, but probably a little biased because I love the Chiefs.
Wait, so Sarah and Jeff, hold on. So did we just open the show, all of us on the Chiefs and over Tyreek Hill? This is a little bit scary, is it not?
I hate us.
Uh-oh.
I'm just not putting money on Taysom Hill anymore. Like we saw, I think it's very simple. We have Pat Mahomes and I have Taysom Hill, who is not an NFL quarterback. Like it feels very simple to me, right? There's no crowd in this game, no home field advantage whatsoever. That's my choice: Pat Mahomes or Taysom Hill. I'll take Pat Mahomes. I think this one's easy.
All right, let's see if we're on different sides on this game. I have a feeling we will be. We have Tampa Bay heading to Atlanta. The Atlanta Falcons 1-3 straight up against the spread since their Week 10 bye. The Bucks laying 6 on the road versus the Falcons. J-Mac, where are you going?
I don't understand why anybody would look at Atlanta here. This is just not a good football team. Matt Ryan taking the 6th most sacks in the league this year. I think he's 3rd most interceptions. He's not having a good year. Apparently no Julio Jones again this week. I know the market thinks Tampa's overvalued, Tom Brady, yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, Sarah, for me, this is Tampa Bay or nothing. They are 4th in the league in pressure rate. Last week, we saw them just wreck Kirk Cousins, 6 sacks. They held, and because of the pressure, they held Thielen and Jefferson both under 40 yards receiving. Like, those are 2 of the best receivers in the league. Tampa bottled them up. They're getting Dean back at corner. I think they rattle Matt Ryan again in the pocket. And I think Tampa Bay wins this rather handily. I'm out on Atlanta. I saw Matt Ryan throw 2 fourth-quarter picks against the Chargers last night. Just embarrassing stuff. I like Matt Ryan. He's a nice human being. But at 35, he's having a down year, and I'm selling stock. Give me Tampa, favored by 6.
So I like Tampa here as well. I know it's a big road favorite, but here's a couple reasons why. When it's time to stop the team from scoring and from you scoring points, Atlanta's not good. They're 29th in the NFL in red zone defense and 30th in red zone offense. So they don't score points and they don't stop the other team from scoring points as well. On defense, they're 31st in explosive plays. Like, they're just not a good football team. Now, Tampa did not look terribly good against Minnesota. They should have not covered that game if not for Dan Bailey losing out on 10 points for the Vikings. But I'm not trusting Atlanta here in this spot at all. They're going back down. They kind of had that new coach bump for a little bit. Give me Tampa here, knowing they have to keep winning, to keep in the wild card race. It's inside. Things are going well. Plus, Atlanta's defense, terrible on deep passes, which Tom Brady struggles at, but I think they take advantage of that in this game.
Well, we're all agreeing on the first 2 games. It's Tampa or bust, and I think the majority of people have felt that way, hence why the line took a little bit of a jump going in Tampa's favor. The Atlanta Falcons scored 16 points against the New Orleans Saints and then put up 17 against the Chargers, who allowed the 6th most points per game. This season, Tampa Bay is really good on the road, averaging over 30 points a game. I'm laying it with Tampa or nothing else, but that goes hand in hand with a prop that we got to look at. And Jeff, I'm going to start with you here. I mentioned earlier that you're winning money taking the under for passing yards for quarterbacks, but this is an interesting spot going up against the Falcons secondary. Tom Brady, his total passing yards set at 288.5. What do you like here?
I'll give you my favorite quarterback one in my confidence meter. We're going to hit that one here. I lean a little bit over here for the reasons I gave. I just think that Atlanta's defense is not good against explosive plays. And we know that Bruce Arians wants to push the ball downfield. Now, Tom Brady is not great at it, but against a bad defense in the Falcons, they're going to find ways to push the ball downfield and get in more of a rhythm in this offense. And look, they're trying to make nice as best as possible, right? We know Bruce and Tom, there's a little bit of a figuring out the offense. They're saying all the right things. It's not always happening, but I feel like against this Atlanta defense inside in a dome, things will happen for Tom Brady.
Yeah, this is a layup for me. Tom Brady on the road this year, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The 2 picks came in the opener. He hasn't thrown an interception on the road since early September. This Atlanta secondary, as Jeff said, is pretty much hot garbage. 288.5 is a big number. They could jump out to an early lead and just run the football here. But I guess I would lean to the over on Tom Brady passing yards.
Yeah, I'm actually with you guys yet again here. The Falcons defense has been a little bit better. They're allowing the fourth most completions to opposing quarterbacks. I think it's just a good game for an aerial attack. You're going to have to take Tom Brady over if you're laying the 6 points on the road. So we agree on this one. We're going to disagree here. I could just kind of feel it coming here. We're getting into game 3 on the slate that we like. We have the Houston Texans playing the Indianapolis Colts. This line has moved a little bit. Obviously, no Fuller, which I think has a big play and kind of an impact on Deshaun Watson. So you got the Houston Texans getting 7 on the road with the Colts. J-Mac, hit me.
Oh, geez. I kind of wish Jeff had gone first because listen, this is one of those, Sarah, I'm sorry, I'm going to explain, I'm going to go long and ramble. Cut me off if you need to, okay? Sometimes in gambling, Jeff, and we've talked about this, you need to just trust your numbers and ignore what you saw last week. Because last week I saw the Texans basically quit at playing football. They let Mitch Trubisky run all over them and embarrass them. And we know this is a Texans team in disarray. The big story in Houston this week, a couple guys are interviewing for the GM job. And Deshaun Watson had at some kind of Christmas party, and there were guys not wearing masks. It looks like this team is checked out. But between the familiarity in the division, how close this team was 2 weeks ago to beating the Colts, I think, maybe not as locked in here, given the win just over them a couple weeks ago. I don't know. For whatever reason, that injury report for the Colts scares me. Costanzo out, 2 tight ends out. Darius Leonard missed Wednesday's practice. I know the Colts were awesome last week, but you guys have to ignore it. This number is inflated. That's a fact. This should be about 4, okay? I think it's Texans or nothing, but this is not an endorsement to go put a big money play on the Texans. I just think it's Houston or nothing.
Obviously, we're doing this show on Thursday. I think if you wait till Sunday, you might get a number better for the Colts. I feel like some money might come in on the Texans and push this to under a touchdown. Because look, I understand what you're saying, Jason, but the Colts are better in the trenches, right? They're better in offensive line and defensive line. They're better in turnovers, plus 10 turnover margin, number 2 in the NFL. Texans are -6, and it's trending in the right direction for the Colts. They're not turning the ball over. 6 turnovers on offense since week 6. Phillip Rivers is starting to heat up now. Jonathan Taylor's starting to heat up now, and they have more to play for. They're playing for the division. They're playing for the playoff seedings. Houston, to your point, last weekend looked completely checked out. And I get it. It was a bad game on the road. It was cold against the Bears, but they let Mitch Trubisky even enter the conversation of getting an extension after the season. People are talking about him like he's getting an extension now. That's how good he played against the Texans. Now I get Phillip Rivers at home in the dome, having to win this game. Give me the Colts here, but wait till Sunday. You might get a better number.
Yeah, when you give up 36 points to Mitch Trubisky, I got to go against you here. It's the Texans defense. I love Deshaun Watson. I got to lay it with the Colts. It's not a strong play for me. It's most likely a stay away. But if I picked a side, it'd be the Colts laying 7. I know it's a big number, but when you make the Bears offense look that good, I got to go against you here. I like this prop coming up here. And Jeff, I'm going to go back to you right now. Jonathan Taylor, 75 yards. Okay, 75 rushing yards and a touchdown. Fox bet here, plus 250.
Yeah, this is some great value here, right? The Texans allow 152 yards on the ground per game, and they've allowed 7 players over 100 yards on the ground, most in the NFL. And the touchdown here, I think, can be a passing touchdown or a rushing touchdown, which obviously Jonathan Taylor, we've seen this year 2 weeks ago against the Texans, blown coverage, touchdown in the passing game as well. Jason, feels like a no-brainer here to plus 250.
I almost wonder, are they talking about the first half? Like 75 yards against, like you said, the worst run defense. Taylor looked incredible last week. Remember, he had the COVID contact tracing and he looked just refreshed. I mean, Taylor, This seems like a slam dunk. I don't know what I'm missing here. Maybe the limit's low, so you can only put like your car payment on Jonathan Taylor, 75 yards and a touchdown. But something seems almost too good to be true.
I don't know what's going on here. I feel like we're being punked or pranked. I'll lay it. Yeah, I love these odds. Absolutely. He's going to score a touchdown. He's going to have 150 yards, just like last week, maybe 2 touchdowns. Yes, all day. Next bet. I'm downloading Fox Bet yet again and laying all my money on that. Okay, game 4. This one scares me. And J-Mac, I'll start with you here because you said you love this week's slate. I can't figure out this game. I'm going to copy your play here. Seattle laying 5 in Washington. The football team, a lot of money coming in on them right now. I know their defense is legit. Who the heck's playing quarterback? Is Alex Smith okay? Is it Dwayne Haskins? Your girl has no idea. Kind of a low total here, 44.5. J-Mac?
Yeah, I like Seattle a lot here. This will be probably one of my top 5 plays of the week. This number feels light, especially if it's Dwayne Haskins. I mean, that guy's a turnover machine. We've seen that. And I don't think the travel is an issue. I know it's, the early start crossing the country for Seattle. And, of course, Seattle look ahead to the rematch, maybe the divisional showdown next week, I think, with the Rams. So there are some red flags. The number I like here is the Washington pass defense is like elite, okay? According to some of the advanced metrics, they're the number 1, number 2 unit in the league, right? But then you look closer and what quarterbacks does this come against, okay? They faced awful quarterbacks in the NFC least. So this is a big step up in class against Russell Wilson. And guess what? Washington is dead last defending number 1 wide receivers. DK Metcalf, who's been kind of quiet lately, 4 of the last 5 games under 100 yards. This could be a DK Metcalf monster performance. I like Seattle here. I just think some of the Washington numbers are a little fugazi. I'm just not feeling that side. And I hope Alex Smith is okay because he's a nice human being. Give me Seattle here.
Yeah, I think it's Seattle or pass for a couple reasons. One, Alex Smith may or may not play. And if it's Dwayne Haskins, it's out. Even if Alex Smith plays, right? He went out of the game last weekend. And correct me if I'm wrong here, just because he had fatigue in his lower leg, which makes sense because his thigh is now his calf muscle. So maybe sometimes he'll be a little bit sore. So will he play the entire game? I don't know. So I don't know how you bet on Washington here, not knowing if the quarterback will play. Antonio Gibson may or may not play for Washington as well. They're a great story. I love the way they're playing. Ron Rivera deserves Coach of the Year nomination. Fabulous job. But this feels like the wrong weekend to back Washington. I like their defensive line against Seattle's offensive line, but everything else, I feel like Seattle has the advantage. They got to keep winning. So does Washington. I get that. But you cannot lay any money on Washington not knowing what the quarterback situation will be.
Yeah, I think this line's tricky only because Washington 5-3 straight up in their last 8 games. People are having some respect, and we get that it's their defense all the way, but you're giving me Russell Wilson. I think their defense is figuring things out at the right time. I'll lay it with Seattle here as well. -5 on the road. We have 2 props for this game, and I'm fired up because I like these props. And from what I understand, Jeff Schwartz is going to hate one of these props. So Jeff, let's start with you here. Chase Young, his total sacks against Russell Wilson in that O-line, half a sack, -115. You going to lay that?
As much as I dislike defensive linemen, this guy is a freak. I mean, I don't know. There was a play last weekend, guys, that they went to cut him, right? So they went to take his knees out, and the guy just hit his leg and bounced on the floor, and Chase Young just made the tackle. I mean, the guy's just not normal. And I think against this Seattle offensive line, they'll find ways to get him in the backfield and get Russell Wilson down. And look, Wilson, for as good as he is, throughout his career, he takes terrible sacks. He is not that good in the pocket. I feel like this is a situation where Chase Young will fall himself in at least 1 sack this game. I'll take the over here.
Yeah, my only caution is the books saw exactly what we saw last week, Jeff, right? Chase Young was a man among boys. Yeah. Had a scoop and score, had another sack. He was everywhere. So they know, everybody saw put up half a sack prop. People will bet it, and you see there's a little more juice there. And I know the Seattle offensive line is a bit of a train wreck. We saw the New York Giants dismantle them a couple of weeks ago, and I think Washington's D-line is better. But my guess is Russ adjusts a little bit. I would actually, for pizza money, I would lean to the under here.
Pizza money. So just a little bit of money on the under. I'll grab the over here for Chase Young. He's going to get a sack. The weakest link for Seattle's their offensive line. They've allowed the 3rd most sacks in the league up to this point. Love Russell, but he's going to have to go down at least once. So I'll take the sack here. One more prop for this game. DK Metcalf, an absolute stud, 75 receiving yards and a touchdown. plus 260. J-Mac, I'll hit you first here.
Yeah. I know the Washington secondary is much ballyhooed. I think I can say ballyhooed. Sounds cool. But I'm going with DK Metcalf over here. Plus 260. That's pretty nice. Get some extra Christmas presents for my kids. DK Metcalf over 75 yards and a TD.
I feel like Fox is just trying to give away money with some of these props, man. I mean, we know DK, and you mentioned against a bad Washington secondary that allows a lot of yards to big wide receivers and to get a touchdown here. We know it's a favorite target of Russell Wilson. I'll take, I'll lay $10 to win 26. Perfect for me.
Yeah, I definitely will. I think it's worth a shot. You certainly don't want to take the other side and bet against, in my opinion, the absolute star in the NFL and DK Metcalf. If Russell Wilson's under pressure, he's airing it out to someone. So it's Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf. I'll gladly take the over and a touchdown from him. All right, moving on to game 5 for us, guys. I like this game, and I'll tell you a little bit why. Bill Belichick's ridiculous against rookie quarterbacks. I'm fading my own mindset in this game. But, Jeff, I'll go to you first. New England, line's moved a ton. Plus 1.5 on the road, warm weather in Miami. Yeah. Cam Newton, you got to what are you doing here?
This one feels too easy, and it kind of worries me. But the Dolphins minus 1.5, right, guys? Like this doesn't feel that complicated, but I know there's a reason why this is where it's at, right? Look, New England this year against teams over 500, they're 1-4 against the spread. Haven't played terribly well against bad teams. They play great. Dolphins on defense, first on third down. First in amount of touchdowns, and second, first in turnover, I should say, and second in the red zone. Like, their defense is elite, guys. The Patriots offense is not very good. Remember, they beat the Chargers 2 weeks ago, 45-0, but they scored 3 times outside of their offense. So you have a Dolphins defense that's really good. We know Brian Flores will be fired up to play this game. One more stat here, kind of interesting. Since 2018, Bill Belichick is only 3-6 against his former assistants and coaches. For years and years and years, he dominated those guys. Not so much anymore. So Brian Flores has a young team. They're playing hard. They just almost beat the Chiefs. The offense looked good for the first time in a long time. Patriots defense not very good. We have equal special teams here. This is under a field goal. Give me the Dolphins. It seems too easy, Jason.
Uh-oh. When it's too easy, Jeff, you know what that means.
I know.
All right, so I believe this is the Patriots' 3rd straight road game. They had the double dip in L.A. Now they go to Miami. However, I really like the Patriots here. Bill Belichick, 19-5 against the spread off a double-digit loss since 2003. This is a guy who got a little bit embarrassed against the Rams. They couldn't move the football. And now I get to go across the country and face Tua, a rookie quarterback. Sarah gave you the number. Bill Belichick has not lost to a rookie quarterback in his last 11 games. Russell Wilson was the last one to beat him. And then you look, okay, well, Tua in Miami, they're a money printing machine. 10-3 against the spread this year. Best record in the league. Okay, that's fine. Have you looked at the injury report? Because I'm telling you guys, I was on Miami last week against the Chiefs, and I watched Gesicki go down, the tight end. I saw Jakeem Grant, the slot guy, go down. I saw Devontae Parker go down. I'm like, who is Tua throwing to? And I had to Google these dudes. Mac Hollins,
yes.
And then Lynn Bowden, a guy who was drafted by the Raiders and was such a knucklehead in like 3 months, they traded him. That's what Tua's dealing with. And my last nugget, and Jeff, you can laugh at this, and Sarah, you can chuckle. Bill Belichick is buddy-buddy with Nick Saban, okay? I'm sure you guys saw that documentary. They have a long history. I would believe that Nick and Belichick have had a lot of conversations over the years about Tua Tagovailoa. I'm guessing Belichick knows what to do, shuts down the rookie quarterback. I've got New England getting the points on the money line, and I'm going to tease them just for good measure. Sorry.
I think you're still thinking about the Patriots as the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick Patriots. It's not like some of those stats, they don't matter. This is not the same team. If you watch them play, like, this is not the same. I understand that Tua is a rookie and Bill Belichick has done well against him, but they're not going to score on offense. Like, this game would be like 10-7 and I get a cover. I just need a field goal. I think the Patriots.
Sorry to interrupt. Miami's had a huge special teams advantage all season, right? I think they were number 1 heading into Kansas City, and then they fell. New England special teams on the rise. We saw them dominate the Chargers. Yeah. I don't think there's an edge for Miami. And, Jeff, this comes down to, can Miami turn the opponent over again? They're the only team that's forced to turn over every game this season. Cam Newton, don't throw it. Just hand the ball off, unless you're throwing to Edelman, who apparently is back after forever. I've rambled for too long. Sorry.
No. I'm going to split the difference here. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are familiar with teasers. In case you're not, I love taking Miami in a teaser here. I'm going the other side of J-Mac. You can kind of get the boast of best worlds here. He likes the Patriots to win this game, and rightfully so, I understand. Bill Belichick hasn't lost to a rookie quarterback in 9 games. You saw what he did to Justin Herbert. He picked him apart. They were shut out. They were embarrassed. Now you're going against Tua Tagovailoa, another rookie quarterback. I actually do think the Dolphins are going to win here, only because the Patriots will not be able to get things going offensively. The defense, the run defense, they allow the 4th fewest yards per rush with the Dolphins. Cam Newton's going to have to run the ball, but I don't think it's going to work. But however, if you take the Dolphins line, you could tease this and get them plus 4.5. They can keep it within a field goal. Even if they lose, they keep within a field goal. This is my kind of play. But then you can either get the New England Patriots winning and the Dolphins covering. I think the Dolphins win, but to play it safe, it's one of my favorite bets. I'm going to tease them plus 4.5. But this will go into a really interesting prop we have, because I know, J-Mac, you talked a little bit about Nick Saban being buddy-buddy with Bill Belichick, and he's going to have a ton of tape. He's one of the most prepared coaches in the NFL for, it seems like, 100 years. So right now, his total for passing yards is set at 236.5 against the Patriots defense. Do you like the over, or are you going to take the under against Bill Belichick and rookie QBs here?
I guess I would lean to the under. Again, I don't know who's suiting up at wide receiver. Tua had a big game passing last week, but a lot of that was down 30-10. We just got to chuck and duck and hope for the best. I don't even know what the running back situation is. They had COVID. They had issues. I don't know. I think Miami struggles to move the football, guys. I know this is not a good Patriots defense. They're not good at all. But I would lean to the under here. Not a strong play on it, though.
Yeah, I think you look at the under here just because they're going to try to play the game they want to play, which is rush the football, protect Tua, get him in good spots, and just don't lose the game. And last weekend, you're right. They're down 30-10. He had to throw the ball. I would lean under here.
Yeah, I lean under as well. Without his top 2 wide receivers, the tight end he's had a lot of magic with, of course. I like the under in the game as well. I know we didn't touch on it a ton, a low total, but I lean under. And I don't know if you guys have a comment and you like the total in this game as well, real quick.
I'm with you on the under, yeah.
Yeah, I think this game is ugly, like 13-10. I mean, it's not going to be fun to watch, but I'm going to hopefully cash a Dolphins ticket here. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, let's see. This next game on the board, a little bit different. I could argue he's one of the more exciting quarterbacks to watch in the NFL. It's Drew Locke. I don't know whatever's going to happen with him on the field. So I make the argument it's exciting. The Buffalo Bills, they're playing incredible right now. They're heading to Denver. Different weather, of course, off of a huge win. They're laying 6 on the road. Jeff, where you going? Total set at 50.
I love Denver here plus 6 for many, many reasons. First of all, there's a ton of public money thrown on Buffalo right now. And these big road favorites have not been covering at the rate they were to start the season. So there's a ton of money on Buffalo, but the line kind of has stayed steady at 6, which means there's sharp money coming in on Denver. But there's other reasons why I like this. Vic Fangio, Denver's head coach, is a dog, 14-7 against the spread. Buffalo this season on the road, 1-3 against the spread. There's other specific game reasons why. Okay, Buffalo's rushing defense, 32nd in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. And we know that when they've struggled this year or the games have been close, it's teams that rush the football, right? Chiefs, Titans, Rams, Cardinals, they rush the football and keep the game close. Denver wants to run the football. We know they've been healthier on the offensive line, healthier on a running back with Lindsey and Melvin Gordon, and they're going to just run the football slowly and steadily. And you mentioned Drew Locke, Sarah. Very interesting. Since week 11, Drew Locke is 5th in the NFL in quarterback efficiency. I wouldn't have thought that. So he's playing a little bit better now too. But I think on the flip side, Buffalo's offense, guys, they scored 19 points last weekend. We look at them like some mythical team that's going to go and beat the Chiefs. I don't know, 19 points last weekend. Josh Allen, 260 yards, just okay. Broncos defense, we know, can stop the run. They're good in coverage. I think Denver could win this game outright, but I'll take the 6 points.
Okay. Jeff on Denver. That surprised me. I got to be honest, folks. I look at this and my first thought is, okay, Buffalo, is this their 3rd straight primetime game? Like, that is a big, tall order for, the primetime, the lights are fantastic. I just look at that Denver secondary, Jeff. Did you see they lost 2 starters at cornerback last week to season-ending injuries? Their top 3 guys were already down. Jeff, their starting cornerbacks, mind you, it's against Diggs and Beasley this week, are a rookie and a guy that they cut earlier this season who resurfaced in Arizona, and he's back. They have no secondary. That's a little scary against Josh Allen. And Jeff, I have to ask, I got to push back. You're big on Pat Mahomes versus Taysom Hill. I mean, we're talking about Josh Allen, who's cooking with gas right now. He's on fire against Drew Locke, who I know you said he's been good recently, but Drew Locke, Jeff,
is he on fire?
Go ask your brother on the Chiefs how bad of a quarterback Drew Locke is.
Drew Locke has played terrible against the Chiefs, but he plays well against most everyone else. I told you the numbers. Look, the Josh Allen thing is interesting. So last weekend, if I'm not, on top of my head, it was like 27 for 43 for like 260. Is that like an incredible game? I don't know. Alex Smith was better against Washington, against Pittsburgh than was Josh. They scored 19 points on offense. Like we act like Buffalo was like this 35-13 win. It was 19 points on offense. They looked bad for an entire half of football. I know the Steelers defense is really good. I get that, but I get a Broncos defense line that rushed the football well. Plus, I just think there's so much value here on the public throwing a ton of money at Buffalo and the line not budging at all. I feel like Denver here is in a great spot at home.
Yeah, I kind of lean under a little bit. I don't know how many points Denver's putting up. And same with Buffalo. You mentioned they're not lighting up the scoreboard in any game. I think you can get a better number on Buffalo. The public's going to come in. They're going to see the Bills. They're going to see Josh Allen playing Denver's defense. I'm going to lay it with Buffalo. You could probably get this to a touchdown come Saturday, actually. So for now, I would lay it with Denver. I'm a little bit with Jeff here. Bills have been a 6-point favorite or more once this season. They didn't even cover. They were in a 9.5 point favorite against the Jets. They won 18-10. This game's interesting. Like I said, I lean under, I lean Denver, but it's a stay away for me because Drew Locke, I said he's exciting, but I don't know what the heck to expect from him most games. So it's a stay away. 2 props for this game. And we're going to start with Josh Allen. He's playing incredible as of lately, and he certainly started the season off hot. You can get the total for his touchdown passes against the Denver Broncos on Saturday. It's set at 1.5. Over is juiced, -175. The under, +125. J-Mac, what do you like?
I like what you said about the under. I think I'm going to back you there. And here, I would lean under to Josh Allen because Denver, I think we both agree with this, Jeff. They can run the football against this Buffalo defense. Yeah. Pittsburgh could not last week. Their line stinks. Connor's coming back off the COVID. Melvin Gordon, I mean, I don't love this Denver team, but if they can run the ball, control clock, I lean to Sarah's under, and I would lean toward Josh Allen's under, despite going against a really, really bad secondary in Denver and beat up as well.
I wouldn't lay the juice here on the over. I would just stay away and maybe even put to your guys' point on the under here. But that's 175 is a little rich for this prop.
I'm with you. It's a stay away. I'm not laying 175 to hope they don't run the ball if they're up. I'm not sweating that out. I've done that too many times this season. Another prop that for this game, which might catch your eyes, because this seems crazy. Stephon Diggs, he's playing incredible as of late. He's the main target for Josh Allen, but it's his total for receptions against the Broncos is set at 7.5. It's -110 on both sides. No John Brown. I understand that, but 7.5's a ton. In half the games this season, he has had 8 or more receptions. Jeff, I'll start with you.
Even though the Broncos secondary is beat up, I got to take the under here. It's the only way I'm going to win my bet if this is under. If this is like 10 or 12 receptions, probably not going to win. So I'll stick with my under here and roll the dice on Denver's beat up secondary.
Yeah, I'm probably with you. Vic Fangio, listen, as much as I make fun of him as a head coach, he is a good defensive mind. And I would assume he's going to throw some unique stuff, given the injuries at Beasley and at, Diggs. So I would lean to the under. Listen, when you've got undrafted guys who, 3 weeks ago were selling us Christmas trees and now they're starting against Stephon Diggs, you got to get them help. So I would expect heavy dime packages and hoping that Buffalo runs the football. So I would lean under on Diggs.
I lean under. That's just too many receptions to touch either side because you're either, like I said, sweating out the whole game of hoping he has one more. And I'm just not rooting against that. The next game is one of my favorites, and I'm very excited to get both of your opinions. The Cleveland Browns are coming off of some would argue, a tough beaten loss against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. Now they're in New York. They're playing the Giants. I'm actually really not sure who's playing quarterback. We're going to guess it's Daniel Jones, and I think the number shows that. Could be Colt McCoy. It might not even change your opinion. Jeff, I'll start with you here. Cleveland only laying 4 on the road, playing pretty good football.
So I'm going with the Browns here for a couple of reasons, but this is a lot of more to do. It's less numbers and just more kind of gut feeling on losing a game like the Browns did. Everyone looks at that game and thinks, well, they're going to be crushed this weekend. I kind of feel the opposite. I feel like when you have I know this, when you have a young football team that is kind of growing up before our eyes, as the Browns are, you often need a tough loss like they had on Monday night to feel that heartbreak, to feel that defeat and feel that sorrow, to make sure you don't have it again, right? And I think the Browns team will use that energy, use that fuel from losing it. We heard Stefanski after the game say, we're on to next week already. We have to get ready to play the Giants. That I think they're going to use that fuel and play just so much better this weekend against a Giants team that even if Daniel Jones plays at quarterback, he has 2 injuries right now. But offensive line was finally exposed against a good defensive line. They played for 4 weeks against bum defensive lines. Now I get Myles Garrett, the Browns defensive line. They should be healthier in the secondary. I get their rushing attack. Giants, one of the worst tackling teams in the NFL. I think the Browns cover this game. They win by a touchdown. I think they bounce back. Short week, I get it. Emotional week. They're going to use that for fuel this weekend.
All right, so we do talk a lot of markets on this show, and I'm sure you guys are sick of it. Jason, we get it. Buy low, sell high. Okay, New York Giants last week come out, lay a massive egg against Arizona. Everybody looks at him. They're a joke. Danny Dimes. I mean, why would you play Danny Dimes with a hamstring injury? He didn't run the football once. It was clear he could not run.
I'm so salty about that game.
Unbelievable, right? So everybody looks at the Giants as laughable right now. Let's look at the Browns. Monday night, island game. Everybody's watching. Jeff, my impression was the Cleveland Browns were more impressive than the Ravens on Monday. I love the Browns. So what am I doing here? Folks, probably my biggest bet of the week. First half on the New York Giants. I think they come out fired up. They've looked pretty good, believe it or not, in 3 primetime games this year. I mean, they haven't won all of them, but they showed well against the Bucs in primetime first half. The season opener against Pittsburgh, it was like, ooh, they're plucky. And then they had another one against the Eagles where it was like, whoa, what's happening here? Even if it's Colt McCoy, who I don't believe in much, I think I'm taking the Giants first half big. And for the full game, I don't totally have a play. I will say this. I know I'm not supposed to check my phone during the show, but I got like 6 texts that Bradbury, the best cornerback of the Giants, is now in COVID contact tracing. Ooh. If he's out, oh, man, that's brutal because he's their best defensive player. I know Leonard Williams is playing well, but if Bradbury's out, you got to watch that because that'll open things up for Jarvis Landry. So I'm reluctantly going Giants first half pretty heavy. Full game, I don't really have a play.
In just a few minutes, we're going to get to our confidence meter picks, and this game will be a part of mine. I love this game. I got burned by the New York Giants last week, and maybe I'm just feeling salty about that. I need to fade them here, but there's a few things. Freddie Kitchens is going to be calling the plays for the offense for the New York Giants. I'm done with that. I'll tell you right now. I'll lay the floor with Cleveland. And also, Colt McCoy and Daniel Jones combined, they were sacked a combined 8 times last week. Myles Garrett has to be fired up for this game. I'm going to lay it with the Browns. I love it. I'm not touching the total at 44. If you guys have a play, please be sure to mention it. But we're going to get to a prop. And this prop is for Nick Chubb, of course. He's playing amazing. He had a great game, even with the loss against the Ravens. His total set at 82.5 rushing yards, -110 on both sides. J-Mac.
Under. I know Chubb is a monster. I haven't seen the Jedrick Willis. Jeff, maybe you're up on it. The left tackle of Cleveland. He left the game against the Ravens with an injury. Didn't look good. I haven't seen the status.
He came back.
He's back. Okay. I would look at the under here specifically. Giants haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher since the opener. That front four is starting to dominate some teams. Leonard Williams playing at a Pro Bowl level. I only know this because he's a former Jet, of course, leaves the Jets, starts playing better. And I do think the Giants, we saw them shut down Seattle, won at the line of scrimmage. This is a pretty good front four. 2 things, just last things. To beat the Browns, you've got to pressure Baker Mayfield and you got to stop the run. Can the Giants stop the run and say, Baker, beat us? Go ahead. Can you do it? Maybe I'm too gassed up about the Giants this week. I don't know. Last number. Cleveland Browns, last 6 games as a road favorite, 0-6 against the spread. I know only 2 of those are Stefanski and the others were last year with Freddie Bathrooms, but I'm very interested in the New York Giants in this game. Sorry.
Man.
I had to.
I think under here on Chubb is the right call. A couple more things to help my case, but also just I think find so fascinating. The Giants are awful at home against the spread. They're under 40% since MetLife Stadium opened. By the way, Jeff Schwartz, played the first game ever at MetLife. We lost that game, and we didn't cover either, so that didn't even help this stuff. But the Panthers went up there, and we lost by like 12. So, and Daniel Jones, as a home starter, 3-9 against the spread as well. I don't know why they don't play well at home, but they don't. So I will leave under here, Chubb. Running back by committee is tough. It's tough to know which guy is going to be the hot guy that weekend. But nonetheless, I like the Browns.
I lean under for that prop. I don't really have a play because I like the under in the game. I do like the Browns to win by a touchdown. But this part of the show I've been waiting for since we opened this whole dang thing. Jeff, I'm starting with you.
Yes.
It's the confidence meter. Please make your girl some money. I need your pizza, your fire, and your lock pick. Hit me.
So I didn't think I'd be the guy picking quarterback totals every week, but it seems to be working out very well. Sam Darnold under 202 passing yards. Here's the deal. The Rams only allow 191 passing yards per game. And even when you look at like the bad teams they play, they still don't allow passing yards. Sam Darnold's only been over this number twice all season. He's only been over 190 one other time, 3 times. So I think the Rams here shut down Darnold. Aaron Donald has a big game as well. All right, 6-point teaser. I'm taking Arizona. It's one of my favorite this weekend. I'm fading Jalen Hurts, but I'll take him down to basically a pick 'em. I got Indy at 1.5 as well, and Green Bay on Saturday night down from 8.5, or really 8 to 2. And then I told you guys Kansas City this weekend. I get Pat Mahomes and I get Taysom Hill. Chiefs great in the situation. Give me the Chiefs.
Sarah, I'm always reluctant when I see Chiefs up there. Does Jeff know something that we don't know? Like, locking up the Chiefs. I like it. Okay.
All right. I need your confidence picks.
All right, well, shout out to Conrad for the festive confidence meter.
I like it.
I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm backing Teddy Bridgewater on the road. We know he's a cover machine. We've seen it time and time again. Sadly, I don't have the stats off the top of my head. Trust me, if you can get the 9 out there, great. It's down to 8.5. There is some professional money, big money coming in on Carolina. This is a Green Bay team that's kind of sleptwalk at home against the Jags. They let people hang around, and Teddy Bridgewater gets DJ Moore back. Great receiver. Yeah. I think they're opening it up, and they'll be able to take advantage of an overrated Packers secondary. My second confidence pick, I have to mention the Jets, guys. Listen, Jeff went against Darnold. I might as well go against my Jets as well. I looked at SoFi Stadium. There hasn't been a game that's topped 43 points this year. It's just, for whatever reason, it's a slow track. And just remember this, the Rams have a huge game next week against Seattle. We just saw Seattle Jets. What'd they do? Jump out to a huge lead, rest everybody in the fourth. I think the Rams can jump out here 27-0 and just go on coast mode in the fourth quarter. I like that under. And then a 6-point teaser. Jeff and I both like the Colts and Arizona. I mean, I hate to sound like a lock, but that may reappear as a kid's college tuition wager on Sunday's show. Sarah, I'm sorry to tease it, but stick and stay for Sunday.
Well, I'll be there on Sunday, so I'll be able to really hear about where you're laying on your college funds for your kids and which game. Here are my 3, and I'm not even hesitant. I actually love them. I had a double think for a second. I'm looking at it again. I'm laying the 4.5 with Cleveland. I feel good about it. I already talked about Freddie Kitchens doing the play calling for the New York Giants. I think Myles Garrett's going to have a field day. This is one of my favorite plays. I bet it earlier in the week. Wouldn't be surprised if more money ended up coming in on Cleveland, especially depending on Colt McCoy or Daniel Jones starting the game. Kansas City, I'm with Jeff. I'm laying it. I understand they're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games, but 10 consecutive wins on the road, all by a field goal or more. I think this is free money. I should have made this my 1. I'm going to double down on that one for sure. And my 6-point teaser, we're going to talk about the game tonight. I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders. Too many injuries on the Chargers side. Anthony Lynn does not win close games. I'm getting +3 at home with the Vegas Raiders. And the Miami Dolphins, they're not losing to Bill Belichick. I know he's good against rookie quarterbacks. Brian Flores coached with him for years. I'm going to take Tua and the injured Finns team to cover by 4.5. That's a 6-point teaser. That's my lock. It starts tonight. So Sunday, you'll know if I'm a little ticked off or not when we start the show. Guys, we got Thursday night football, and my teaser begins tonight with that. So I'm going to hold my breath. This line moved quite a bit. Injury news came out with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. You have the Los Angeles Chargers, and I love Justin Herbert, but they're on the road. They're playing the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders laying 4 now, strictly because of this injury news. J-Mac, I'll start with you.
So as I sat in the chair, I didn't get any texts, unfortunately, about the Chargers. Both Allen and Williams. That would be bad news, obviously, if you're the Chargers. I guess I'm still going to take the Chargers here. I know it's Anthony Lynn, and I'm asking for pain because I'm a glutton for punishment, but the Raiders are down 4 defensive starters as well. I look at this team. I think they lead, or they're second in the league in missed tackles. I mean, since Austin Eckler's come back, Anthony Lynn has shelved the smart game plan of let's throw deep. And he just let's get the ball to Austin Eckler left and right, and he can just break tackles. I hate that game plan. I think you need to go deep. The kid Guyton had a real strong game a couple times this year against the Saints, against the Bucks. Chargers can move the ball. I'm getting 4. I got to take it. I'm taking it with Anthony Lynn, and then it's one of these
This is one of those we talked about earlier, right? So hold your nose and bet the Chargers game, right? Because they are the right side, in my opinion, which all the injuries and I just dislike it very much. But if you're looking to put money, it's either this or the over, in my opinion. The Raiders defense, guys, 32nd in the NFL in rush defense, according to efficiency numbers. And the gap between 31 and 32 is huge. They're terrible on defense. And all the guys are injured. They just fired their DC. Rod Marinelli runs a specific style of defense that you're not going to be able to employ in 3 days of practice. So there's going to be a lot of miscommunications, a lot of places where defenders are not at. So I think the Chargers here is the play. The Raiders guys have not looked good, right? So October Super Bowl champs beat the Chiefs, and since then have not played very well. I take my Raiders dig there anytime I can get it. So I like the Chargers here +4.
Yeah, I struggled here a little bit because originally I was going to tease the Chargers, which would mean I'd get more points, but these injuries have scared me off.
Yeah.
What I will say is the Raiders 6-0 ATS in their last 6 against the AFC West. Very good in their division. Los Angeles lost 5 straight road games. They're struggling. It's a stay away. If anything, I look at the total and I like the over. The total set 53. Both these teams put up a ton of points, and we've seen the Chargers defense has certainly struggled this season. One prop that we're going to talk about for tonight's game, and J-Mac, you talked about him a little bit, Austin Eckler to score a touchdown. It's -125. J-Mac, I'll go back to you here. You're going to lay the 125 for Eckler to get in the end zone.
I don't like that, but I mean, the Jets scored multiple touchdowns against the Raiders. I mean, the Falcons, everybody scores in Vegas. We know that, and everybody's going to score tonight. Give me Eckler -125.
So I mentioned the switch in defensive coordinator, and if Rod Marinelli tries to employ the defense that he wants to run, and remember, this has just happened Sunday, so this is 2 or 3 days to prepare for this game. There's going to be a lot of situations where they're going to be out of gaps, I feel like, in the run game. The Chargers might get a cheap touchdown just for that reason. So I'll go over here for the touchdown. I'll lay a little bit of juice here. I think you're right, Jason, and then they're force-feeding Eckler right now too.
Yeah, I guess I'll take Eckler just because I don't trust the Raiders defense. He has 1 touchdown, but the Vegas Raiders, the last 3 opponents have given up 40 points. I'll lay the 125 and root for Eckler tonight. It's the only way I'm watching this game. Guys, I'm back with you Sunday, so I hope you're as excited as I am. If I'm not happy, it's because the Raiders didn't cover my teaser +3, so you'll know before the show starts. But we'll be back on Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I hope we'll get all the injury news and everything settled before kickoff. You definitely want to catch that show for the final live movement, all of our bets. So for Jason McIntyre and Jeff Schwartz, who's taking the under on every quarterback still, I'm Sarah Perlman. This was Talk the Line with Fox Sports and Fox Bet. We'll see you Sunday.